So welcome. My name is Neil Thrussell.
My name is Jamie Adamchuk.
And we're the co-founders of the 4Ds of Success. And I know I'm really excited to have Dorothy with us today. And yes. Dorothy gave us a short bio that I love, that she says, inspiring leaders mentor. And to me, that's beautiful. So welcome, Dorothy.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be with such great company.
So let's just work on what does to me, inspiring leaders, mentors means that you're inspiring people, the leaders of the world, and you're their mentor. Is that really the take on it, or am I adding too much to it?
So inspiring leaders mentor really came to me as a great expert title, because without inspiration, nothing happens. You need to be really clear that there is some future that you want that's so important, you've just got to have it. And to do anything big takes a team of people, friends, family, your business, your work environment, wherever it is that you find yourself, and to inspire them is the secret sauce, and that's passion, that's clarity, that's all that mix that we'll talk about today.
Sweet. We love secret sauce.
Absolutely. And the one word I heard you say in there, Dorothy, was passion. And I just love to hear that word. When I hear it, it excites me. It gets me juiced up. So thank you so much for sharing that in there. I absolutely love that.
Oh, thank you, Jim. It's just a wonderful thing. You know, I started off life as a really geeky kid, physics and math. You know, I was geek. And, you know, I was as far from passion as the East was from the West. You know, it was all about the facts and figures, which is important. But once I, got back in touch with my humanity, wow.
Sweet. So, Dorothy, we're doing a success summit, and Jamie and I both have our own versions of success, and yet there's the ingredients that are similar in success. How do you define success in your life? when you feel successful, how do you feel, and how do you know that you're successful?
You know, when I'm successful, I've got a three-way win. I'm never satisfied with a small win. I want a big win. I want to win for me. I want to win for the people I serve, and I want to win for the bigger community. Those are the things that just light me up. And I think when you're not playing for a triple win, you're just not playing big enough.
So when I hear you're willing to play big, so you're not risk adverse.
I manage risk, and at the same time, when I see an opportunity, I will just find a way to make the risks along the way immaterial to what I'm doing.
Because many of the people... Sorry, Jamie, you were going to say something?
I was going to say, I really love that. It sounds like there's a bigger purpose there. When you make some of those risks immaterial, when you weigh it out, it sounds like there might be a bit of a scale there as to how you do that. Would you be able to share with us a little bit of that secret sauce?
Oh, yes. So the scale is, not just how do I feel about it, because sometimes, human beings are really horrible assessors of risk at that first blush. And so if I feel something is scary, I will just break it down. I'll get out that piece of paper and write down how I'm feeling. I honor those feelings. They're there for a reason to protect me in some way. And then I'll ask just a series of simple questions. How likely is this to happen? What's the worst that could happen if it did? And, I'll rate each of those simple questions on a 1 to 10 scale. Multiply those two numbers together. If that, it's a relatively small risk, if it's under, half of what that could be, then I'm going to ask myself, is there some way that I can manage that to make it smaller? And even if it turns out that multiplied number turns out to be kind of big, I'm going to ask myself, how can I reduce that risk so that in reality it's
Sweet,
wonderful.
Yes. So, Dorothy, the 4Ds are desire, determination, dedication, and discipline. Which is your fallback position? Which one do you feel the most comfortable in leading you through to success?
Now, I'm a real balance-oriented person, so I want to balance all those things, and I want to take them in turns. So nothing happens without desire. You never do anything. I never do anything big without desire. If I want it, I'm going to find a way to make it happen. So desire is critical, because that's the true north. It's where you're going, right?
Absolutely.
And then to get to it takes dedication. You've got to, be in it for the win. And that takes determination and dedication. So those two things, they're like two sides to the same coin, and just so delicious to have. And then there's that discipline to go after it every day, to make sure that every day you're getting out there and doing what needs to be done. If that's speaking, if that's stepping into that next best level of you, if it's creating something so that you're systematizing your business, whatever that is.
Wonderful. I really love the way you tied all four of those D's in together, seeing that one feeds the other to feed that greater good. And I love that. I love you seeing that. Is there a particular story of your own life that you could share with us where you've taken these principles, these four fundamental principles, and put them to work for you?
Oh, gosh. When I started my business just a few years ago, I had a long and successful corporate career, and then I ran into a terrible health issue, which really impacted my performance at work. And I had these lovely, difficult conversations with my boss. And as I got through that health issue and came up on the other side of that, she was just extraordinarily pleased with how I had bounced back and was really being myself again. And that's wonderful. But you know what? She and none of us, when we're working in corporate America, is in charge of when the muckety-mucks decided it's time for a downsizing. And who is it that who's on the short list? People who have been difficult in the past 6 months, from their perspective, right? That you have bounced back and showed the kind of resiliency that any corporation would value. That doesn't count as much as what's your performance for the past 6 months. So I was out on my own, and I thought, what? Do I want to get another corporate gig? Well, the answer was no. I was really ready to go out on my own. And it takes all four of those needs to be able to do that.
That's incredible. I love hearing that story because I was faced with something very similar to yourself. We had a downturn in the oil and gas industry, and I found myself in the exact same spot as you. And, it was a little bit of a shock at first. And then I stopped and I thought about it, and I said, well, you know what? When one door closes, another door always opens. Life wasn't happening to me. Life was happening for me at that time. It was giving me that opportunity. So like yourself, who took that opportunity, you were able to see it for what it was, not like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But hey, what a great opportunity I've got right now. I love hearing that back.
Yeah, that is. And the oil and gas is such a cyclical boom and bust kind of industry.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So in your success, the math and the geek person probably in the initial stage was prominent. But are you a big picture visionary person that just exactly what it is that you want, or are you the opportunist that it just flops onto your lap and you go, oh, I love this, and I'm just gonna go?
I had been planning to start my own business for years. And in fact, even when I was in corporate, I had my own business on the side. I had a real estate investing business, and that's here in Texas. That did well for me. So it's wonderful to have other people help you buy property that is valuable, over time. And to serve them at the same time with really quality property. So it's, I'm a big picture thinker. I set out a strategy and I go for it. It doesn't always turn out the way that I want it to, and I always find a way to turn those challenges into that next opportunity.
Very good, very good. So what have you got to add to this, Jamie?
So again, seeing those principles of that, starting your own business, when I look back at that and say maybe some of these D's weren't where they needed to be, how would that have made the experience different for you if you didn't have that desire, that drive, that determination, that dedication, and that discipline? How may have things turned out differently?
If I didn't have the desire to start my business when I had that last corporate experience.
I like that. We'll call it an experience. I'll share that with you.
Then I would have floundered for a while. I didn't really want to do corporate again, but it wouldn't have been clear to me. And honestly, I would not have already have been doing the kind of preparation to set me up for that kind of success. And having playing for the long term is so important, because when you play for the long term, you can see and winnow the wheat from the chaff on what's an opportunity that can propel you forward versus what's something that can pull you sideways. And sideways is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's really great about that is like Neil alluded to right in the very beginning, we've each got our own version of success, really what success means to us. But taking these 4 key components in, we can manifest that success for whatever it is that we choose to make as success for us. So seeing how successful you are, what you've done, where you've taken yourself, absolutely commend you and applaud you for that. That's phenomenal.
Well, thank you, and it's just so exciting to be here. Yesterday, I had I'm going to be launching my own podcast later on this fall in December, and so yesterday I had the privilege to do a dozen interviews with just very exciting businesswomen here in Dallas. So it was a banner day, and you just got to, when you're clear on what you want to do, when you'll be able to see the things along the way that will help get you there faster, quicker, better.
Yes. Yeah. So, do you find greater success when you collaborate or as the lone wolf? For you personally?
Oh gosh, collaboration is key. I can never be successful without other people. And I will tell you this, to me, it's a truly mystical story. There was, after I started, I'd been kind of treading and working and doing my best to build this very entrepreneurial business in a space that I had never worked in before. And I remember it was one Sunday morning. I was, sitting at my computer thinking, what am I going to do? I need to be at church, but I'm not there. And, I'm thinking to myself, gosh, I just don't know. And I had this wafting feeling, just as though a voice were coming over from the back of my head that sounds really goofy, but it's true. And it said, I need Lisa. Now, there's this wonderful mentor who you may know, Lisa Sasevich, and I didn't even know any Lisas. I didn't know what that meant or anything. And then the next week, in my inbox lands an affiliate offer from one of her affiliate partners for this Speak to Sell that she does. And it was just incredible to me that, and I was like, that's that Lisa. And you know it in a second. It was truly incredible. And when you know what you want, you don't miss. Sometimes time will work backwards. You will know before you can know what it is that you need, and that is really resting into that amazing spirituality that as human beings we really can rest into when we're willing. And it doesn't matter what your theology is. You can have some or none. But, it's a very human trait to be able to hear the things that are unhearable and know the things that are unknowable.
Go ahead, Neil. Go ahead.
I suspect you, like most people, have come across an opportunity where you've desired and you really, really, really want something, and the universe is throwing roadblock after roadblock after roadblock to test you, to find out what it is, whether you really want this. Could you share an example, an experience that you've had of this, and what got you through? Was it the desire? Was it your pure determination? Was it the there's no way I'm going to lose to this? What was it? So could you share a story of this?
Oh, yes. And, it was when I was going through that time. I was speaking a lot, and I could speak. I could give a lot of value, but I didn't know how to ask for, that follow-on. I didn't know how to structure my talk for that follow-on, and so I thought I've got to learn, how to do that if I'm going to spend my time in a way that pays me back. As much as you can give people great pearls of wisdom in the moment, great ideas are not where the magic is. The magic is in the implementation. And when you're doing something new, you need somebody to hold your hand and help you through it. Just like all of us went through school, the English teacher could have told you, read all these books. If you didn't know how to read them and go through and analyze them, and that teacher didn't guide you along the way, you would not have gotten the real pearls out of those books as you were learning. Same thing in any other course that you take. And that was so true for me. And what I didn't realize when I was first out and on my own and speaking and giving tons of value was how to structure that value in a way that people would have the opportunity to see that they needed more, that they needed somebody to help them through to implement all those things, because implementation is where the money is.
Thank you.
And, these were all business people, small to medium-sized businesses that I was speaking to. They were interested in getting better so that they could build their business.
And what's great right about that right there is we hit that first D again, that desire to become better, to accept change. And when we look at the 4 Ds and when we think about implementation, isn't it great that you start out with that desire? Then you get that determination that you're going to accomplish it. You get the dedication to accomplishment, and then you stay on that discipline to ensure that the implementation is successful. You have a successful go live with that. So seeing those 4 Ds and looking at implementation, it's great, to see that comparison, to see those 4 factors right within that.
Yes, and my number one mantra is fail forward.
Yes.
I'm never going to do it perfectly. I'm going to do the best I can. And guess what? The next time I do it, it will be better. So I'm doing a webinar tonight. It's the first time I'm delivering this particular webinar. And, it will be okay. And the next time it'll be better.
That's wonderful. And you know what? Thank you for sharing failures, because all too often people see failure as such a negative thing. I would hallucinate that the 3 of us here, when we hear failure, what do we think? I mean, for me, it's like, awesome, I know what not to do next time. I've learned something.
Yes.
And I love that takeaway. I get excited about a failure because it's something, I can take a different step now. When we look at some of the greats of history, I mean, Thomas Edison, how many times did he try and invent that light bulb? I mean, over and over and over. And you know what? It's not 1,000 failures or 10,000 failures. It's 10,000 ways not to do it and how to do it better next time.
That's exactly right. And it's so much fun just to write down the things that didn't work well and ask yourself, what do I need to do next time so that thing doesn't happen?
Absolutely.
And that's an interesting, all of this is interesting because we, especially adults, we've been conditioned or we quit after the first failure. We just, as soon as it doesn't work for us, we walk away. And if we had to learn to walk as children, we'd all be sitting on our bums just scooching across the floor because we would have never had the determination to learn to walk because, well, I fell down. I don't know what to do. But it's amazing. I know watching babies to learn to walk, when they see that object, that desire, they want that thing, even though we as adults don't want them to have it because we haven't baby-proofed our house or whatever. They're like, I want it.
And isn't that great? Because it's that desire that fuels that passion to move forward, to find a new way, to find a better way to do it. And instead of crawling on the hands and knees, one day it's like, hey, if I stand up on these two great feet that I have, I can get there much quicker. I'm taller. It's just so much advantage. So it all starts with that desire. I love that.
It does. And desire it really is the secret sauce. So when you get clear, in fact, for my clients, one of the very first things that I take them through is your irresistible future pre-training, because I want them to be absolutely clear on what they want, what it's going to do for them to have it, and how it fits into the whole of their lives. Because when people are clear on that, then they've taken out the demons of doubt that will pull them off sides later on. So we want to address that really early so that they can just sail through and block and tackle through the kinds of issues that will inevitably come up. They are part of building in the resiliency to get through it.
Cool. Thank you. Well, we go in my chair here. So if you were to show, let's say I don't know anything about success, how would you entice me, inspire me to move forward so that I could be a success?
I would ask you to tell me a story about a time when you were successful, when things went your way because you made them. That's what success is, finding a way to make something happen that otherwise would.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Yep.
That's wonderful. One of the last things one of the other things I'd like to ask is about yourself personally, taking care of yourself. And that really brings us onto that, fifth and magical D, the D of the dojo, the self. Tell us a little bit about that. What do you do to practice the self, to practice with the dojo?
So that is such a great question, and it's really critical to take care of yourself. In our culture these days, we're not particularly great about that. So I'm really careful about what I eat. I exercise regularly. I get enough sleep, and I meditate on a regular basis, and I work out on a regular basis. So I can tell you a little bit about each of those if you like.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear, because it's a whole recipe. What you're sharing with us, we've got these 4 Ds, 5 Ds now. It's putting them all together. This is your recipe for success, and it's exciting to be able to share it with all the other viewers online.
So the thing about the dojo that is so important is that it's the underlying kind of substrate, so to speak, for the discipline that I need on a regular basis. When I was in my 40s, I found, so here's the backstory for what motivated me to start my own, Dorothy Dojo. I was finding that I couldn't even take my daughter shopping for an hour without being exhausted from pain. And I didn't know what was causing that. Now, the people in my family lived to be about 100 years old. I did not want to feel that way for another day, let alone 4 or 5 or 6 decades, It was possible.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what do I need to do? So, a couple of decades and a couple of babies will put some extra weight on the gal, and I had that. Ugh. And so I thought, well, what do I need to do to get rid of this weight? And so I tried different things. And, most people, when they try to, recapture the thin within, will try something and it won't work, and then they'll say, oh, that doesn't work for me. But that persistence, that desire and determination, is key to being able to say, well, what else could I try that could work for me, and being open to that possibility. So if you're in that situation that I was in, keep asking, what could work for me, and what else can I try, and try it. I eventually ended up on something that I thought might be, I just treated it as an experiment, which was to take all the white things out of my life I've just got this really goofy sense of humor that can be, kind of weird for people sometimes. So I apologize if this is, but I just took all the white stuff off my diet. I said to myself, Dorothy, you are a white girl. You can leave that stuff behind.
Love that.
And have fun with it. And so I did. I thought I will try this for a week. A week later, gentlemen, I felt so much better. It was amazing. And on top of that, I'd lost 2 pounds. Now, for a woman to lose 2 pounds in a week is like miraculous. We don't realize it. But feeling better was what I really wanted. And it was just amazing. And so I continued doing that. And a year and a half later, I had lost pretty much all of that extra 25 pounds that, by the way, was mostly between my knees and my ribs. It looks so good, I cannot tell you. So anyway, and then I thought, I'm still not quite as energetic as I used to be. What do I need to do? And so then I started, I was working with this fellow at a contracting gig that I had in downtown Dallas. It was with a stockbroking firm. Those stockbroking guys are just totally badasses. They're so much fun. And he was like a weightlifter and a really difficult guy to work with. And so I thought, what can I do to kind of get on the same page with him? And so I was tired of being a skinny kid, with pencils for arms. So I'm like, Jerry, what can I do to build some muscle here? My arms are just way too skinny. And so he started mentoring me just a little bit on this. And anyway, we got that project done because we had some rapport where we had never had it before. So always go for rapport with somebody who's difficult because it's magical. Yes. But it started me on that, lifting just a little bit. I'm a kind of a willowy gal. So, I have to lift weights appropriate to my frame. When I go to the gym and the guys are lifting these big weights, I just tell them I'm going to give them a run for their money.
Yes.
We have a good laugh and just everybody has a good time. So just do the things. When you set that desire, you want to feel better, you want to do better, then you just find a way to do that. When you ask yourselves those open questions. And I will tell you the most common question that people ask is why, and that is the most useless question there is. There is no definitive answer to the question why. But you can get a definitive answer to what can I do about this? Ask questions like that.
And that's key. That's key right there, because you said something in the beginning there. What else could I do? I mean, you've already got the presupposition within that there are other things. There's more that you can do. It's not like, oh, I've tried everything, I'm done. You're presupposing right there that, there's so much more. What else can I do? I love that. That's some beautiful secret sauce right there. Thank you for sharing that.
It's been magical for me, and I ask that question on a regular basis because I am never satisfied with my performance. In a happy way, I'm not beating myself up for it. I just know there's more that's available.
Yes. And that's where true mastery comes from, is when you know that there's always that little extra, that you've done great, but you know that there's more that you can do. And I find many people stop learning. They hit whatever age, 20s, they've done their university, they don't want to learn. The 50s, they don't want to learn. The 60s, they're retiring, I don't want to learn. But learning is the way to keep the mind active and truly experience life. So one of the ways to experience a greater life is to continue to learn.
Yes, indeed. It's so magical for me, and one of the gifts of as year after year progresses is when you learn something new, you can connect it to other things and shed new light on experiences that you had in your past and project those forward into your future so that the next time you have an experience that was similar, that things turn out better, that you've got more options. And I will tell you, the people with the most options win.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Looks like you want to say something, Jamie. You're like,
What really excites me there is again, it's reflecting on that past. I mean, the past does not equal the future. We know that. Yet taking some of these experiences from the past, reworking them a little bit, rejigging them a little bit, and making a completely new outcome. That's something really amazing. I love to hear that, because it gives all of us that different idea that, you know what, just because that outcome was this way, what could I do? What other tools, what other methods could I apply to this, this activity to gain a different result? So, it doesn't hurt to reflect back on that. We don't dwell on the past because, like we know, the past does not equal the future, but take those experiences, rework them, rejig them, and come up with a completely new outcome.
Yes, and do that, as you said, not in the sense of judgment, but in the sense of observation. What you want to be is a loving badass for yourself and for the other people in your life. Love. I am the biggest hugger in my town. I think that there are not enough hugs on planet Earth. We need more. And so I'm always leading with love, but I will be a total badass coming right after that.
Love that.
sweet. And we agree. You can never have too many hugs.
They're pretty sweet.
And I think the world would be a kinder, gentler place if all of the politicians in the world had to actually give a heart-to-heart, really heartfelt hug instead of that.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm just going to put that aside. I have very particular views on how to have healthy, productive politics, and at least in the U.S., we're pretty polarized these days. As the last election demonstrated, half the country grew up happy or woke up the day after the election happy, and the other half of the population woke up going, "Oh my God!" So there's a lot of work to do here, and leading with love really does, and being really clear on what it is that you want to accomplish is the kind of thing that can bring people together when they feel like they're so far apart. They're actually not as far apart as they could be. You just need to kind of chunk it up a level to find that common ground.
Yeah, because just using an election, there's one person views it as a complete success, one person views it as a failure, and yet, well, okay, let's say that it is, but to learn, the person that views it as a failure needs to look at it and go, what went wrong, do all the analysis, their SWOT analysis, and then re-go. And the winner sometimes in their arrogance just forgets to look at what did I do right, what did I do wrong, and where can I improve. And that's where I think when we go and do something really good, we as humans of people, a person makes their first $100,000, but they want $1 million, they beat themselves up. But they need to look and evaluate who they are, what they've done, and recognize all of their successes. Same within politics and same with what. We need to recognize their successes and choose how to move forward to make this even better.
Yeah, that's so true. You have some clients who are, they have a company together here in the Dallas market, and their company, runs between $10 and $14 million top line revenue every year. So, and they're looking to grow that company. And what they put in place are some really good systems that help them grow. The thing that is the up level is more the dojo piece. It's more the mindset for them to see what are their opportunities for tweaking already good systems. You're not making $14 million a year without good systems. Where systems stand for, do something that's going to make you more time and money, and right? It's just serving yourself to systematize your business, and they're willing to step up and do that. But oh gosh, it's kind of rattling their box. And the first thing that happens that lets you, as somebody who's guiding other people, know that they are on the brink of a real shift is when they start getting wobbly. You know, they're not sure if this is the right path for them. They're not sure if they should get, or was that a stupid decision I made to, you know, be engaged with this person? Oh my. When they're feeling that way, that is a magical moment. I just want to honor people in that moment of doubt, because the real seed of their need is right there.
Mm. That's beautiful. It's that moment you're on the precipice of that breakthrough. And that's what's exciting. You're in that uncertainty, and really the quality of our lives is a direct reflection of how much uncertainty we can accept into our lives.
That's true.
So at that moment, you know, will you make it? Will you end up being the one that succeeds and parties? Or instead, are you the one that fails and ponders?
Yes, right.
Where will it be?
Yes, succeeds in parties or fails in ponders. You know, that's wonderful. Pondering is valuable for to get clear so that you can catapult forward.
Yes.
You don't need to pull yourself back.
That's right.
As we go through these interviews and through my personal experience, I have never met a highly successful person that has not royally screwed up almost everything. And from failure breeds success. And I love the term discipline, not from a father or mother disciplining a child, but from the systematized and systematic approach to doing things day in, day out, and the discipline to go and do something even when you don't want to do it. And it is through the discipline, after you've completely failed at something, to reevaluate your position, reevaluate your goals, and use your dojo, love yourself, respect and honor yourself, and pick yourself back up and go forward.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Pardon me, had a little cough there.
No worries.
The times that I've done that, it was, you know, I give myself time to grieve, to feel those feelings. You know, I don't dive into those feelings. I'll you know, take a meditative pose. I'll rest into them. I'll let them kind of float through like weather. And when they have on their own, you know, it takes about 10 minutes, maybe 15, for them to kind of float through. It makes all the difference. We felt them and feel them. It's all.
That's incredible, giving yourself that time, going into your own dojo. And I love the analogy you used with the weather. Let it blow through like a weather system, because after the rain comes the sun.
That's right. It does. It does. And emotions are like weather. They can feel really scary in the moment. And when you let them rest through, you give them time to process, you know, you get to work through that in a way that gives you power on the other side. It gives you clarity. That gives you insight so that you can move on and really do what you know you're here to do.
Sweet. So with this, I'm thinking that I can feel that we've all done the dance. We're all happy. So I think it's time to say thank you to Dorothy.
Thank you very much.
This has been great, gentlemen. I had a wonderful time with you. You're really great. And I know that people are going to be tremendously served at the highest level with all of the interviews that you've got. I can't wait to hear them all.
Excellent. Thank you so very much, and for sharing, you know, your secret to success, your innermost feelings, your desires, your passions to move this forward, to make a difference in life, to help out mankind. Thank you for that.
My pleasure, and thank you.
You are most welcome, and we will look forward to talking to you again soon.
Soon.